do you think that not having your real dad around from birth, right, affected you? Welcome back to Three Girls, One Kitchen. On today's episode, we're diving into deeper depths with my co-host, Olivia Davis. This is part of the Get to Know Us series. Each host will have their own episode. Just a reminder, fan questions will be at the end of this episode per usual, so make sure you stay tuned to see if your question got answered. Okay, so Olivia Davis, let's start from the very beginning of Olivia.
When I came out of my mother's womb.
Yeah. Well, first of all, that's not even how you pronounce your name. So you're from Ukraine, right? Mm-hmm. What is the Ukrainian pronunciation of your name?
So it's actually a completely different name. It's not even Olivia. It's Ola. So the ya in that name, a lot of people can't pronounce in different countries. So whenever I came here, I had to actually legally change my name to Olivia because I felt like it was the closest thing. I know a lot of people have heard the name Olga. I personally don't like it. I think it's very vulgar. And also, that's not my name. It's Ola. And I wanted it to be as similar, I guess, as I could and feminine, so I changed it to Olivia.
I've heard of that before. Growing up, my neighbors, they were adopted from a Korean family, and they had a Korean version of their name, and then their parents gave them an Americanized version of the name. So I get that. I've heard of that before. So when did you move to America?
So I came here when I was 9.
Wow. And what was the switch like? Also, did you speak any English when you first moved here?
No, I learned a couple of words, just like the basics, like, I don't understand you. Hello. Goodbye. I don't speak English.
Wait, how long did it take you to learn to speak English?
I don't know. I think I honestly couldn't really tell you. I just went to school. I had finished first grade in Russia or Ukraine, and then my mom actually thought it was a better idea just to go ahead and put me in first grade again when I came here. I was older in school, and people thought that...
You did 2 first grades, essentially.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So yeah, I did 2 first grades, and it's not because I was held back, it's because I didn't speak English, and my mom just felt like that was the best choice for me. So I think I learned English basically in school, and I did have a translator, which was my mom's friend's son. So obviously he was terrible at it. Clearly that he did not want to do that. He pretty much bullied me, which I hated. I know it was miserable. He was just like teasing me and bullying me. And then I also had a neighbor that I hung out with every single day, and I just kind of learned from him.
So yeah, so it just sort of naturally happened. And they say a young mind is more flexible and able to pick up on that. I think, what is it, before the age of 4, you're able to process and learn language easier. So that makes sense. Or sorry, actually it might be under 14. I don't know the exact numbers on that, but it is something like that.
I definitely know the earlier the better for sure.
Yeah, the earlier the better.
Oh, yeah.
So in your school life, did you do any sports? Were you involved in school activities? How was that when you moved here?
No, I just got sent to detention a lot.
Oh my God, for what?
Because I was constantly agitated to the point that, like, my teachers couldn't understand me, and I would just keep saying things in Russian, and they would just be like, what are you saying? Or I would try to tell them that, like, my translator was bullying me, and they couldn't understand, so my teacher just got really frustrated, and she just sent me to the principal's office.
How was he bullying you?
He was just calling me, like, names, and he would just make fun of me and just say... he would call me, like, the bitch word, and I would tell my teacher. 9. It's right when I came here. Yeah.
But do you think
that kid sounds like he has problems?
Well, I was gonna say, remember back then though, when boys were mean to you, they were always taught to, like, that's how you flirt.
Yeah.
And when we're younger, like, it could have been his way of flirting, or he didn't want to like you.
Ew. I mean,
I think he was also older than me. Like, way older.
Don't like make that behavior seem okay.
Well, that was like a thing when you were a kid.
I get it.
He was what do you mean older? I thought you guys were both 9.
No, he wasn't. He was older than me. Yeah.
Yeah. So hopefully he wasn't flirting then. I'm like, never mind. But I thought you did do sports and you were an athlete.
So I started skating, I think, right when I actually got here. My mom had taken me to Disney on Ice in Russia, and I just fell in love. I was so jealous of the girls on ice that I took my mom's camera and I started taking photos of them. So then I would show my friends in school and tell them that it was me on the ice.
Oh my God. I could see you doing that.
I was like, that's me. That's me. That's me.
Oh my God.
It's
So
like someone that looks nothing like you.
yeah. So
I think I remember doing that in school as well.
yeah. So clearly
It's
I
so
had
weird.
I had a passion for skating, and that's something that I wanted to do at a very young age. So yeah, I started figure skating. I actually started doing other sports before I essentially was a figure skater. I did soccer.
Yeah. Well,
I had done
from
gymnastics.
your description, like you had like a very classic like European Russian mother, and she sort of pushed you into sports, like her perfect little angel, right? It was like that type of thing.
Honestly, no, she didn't at
Really?
all. It was my choice. I think I just grew up a tomboy and very like naturally athletic, and I love.
What
being
about
active.
like weren't your parents really into like your figure skating career and just like wanting to like push you ahead? And like what
Yes.
about the pageants? How did your parents feel about that?
They really didn't care because that's kind of like as I got older. I don't think I even started doing pageants until I was about 23. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. I thought that would have been something that you started in your childhood.
No. I figure skated for about 13 years first before I did anything else.
And so you've talked about before on the show, you were really heavily invested in your figure skating career growing up, and that it sort of affected you with your body image and dieting. Can you talk a little bit about that?
So obviously a lot of people know that being a figure skater, or like I know you've been a gymnast, a ballerina, a lot of those sports or hobbies are very, very hard into fitness and your physique of being skinny and dieting. And I personally don't support that. I think it's so unhealthy, but obviously at the same time, like I do have to understand that the reason why they want a ballerina to be really skinny so the man can pick her up. Same in figure skating. The reason why they want you to be extremely skinny and not be overweight is so whenever you do pair skating or ice dancing, it's the man that he's able to pick you up.
Yeah, exactly. I was a flyer in cheerleading.
Yeah,
so they
so
would
it's the
always
same
tell me,
as
don't
cheerleading.
eat after 8:00. Don't eat pizza.
Yeah. But I think with me, it takes the right way to train a child. And I think I wasn't properly trained because I was going through puberty. And at that time, like I was gaining weight because, you know, I
That's
got my
natural.
period. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a natural cycle. And coming from having Russian coaches who are very crazy, they don't care. Like they don't believe in that. They want you to constantly stay skinny. So I had actually developed an eating disorder because I wasn't allowed to eat certain things, and that made me depressed. So not being able to eat like what I wanted, I remember I actually at one point during my off ice, I was in the cafeteria and my coaches walked in, and I think that day I just really wanted to have a cheat meal. I was like, I really want this buffalo chicken sandwich. Like I don't ever get to eat anything. And I remember eating it and they caught me. They walked in and they caught me. And oh my God, they told my parents and I literally got a spanking that day. Like it was so traumatizing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I got punished. So yeah, it's really sad that I had to go through that because it did.
Yeah, did it affect you beyond
Yeah.
after you quit figure skating?
Yeah, I after I had actually retired figure skating, I would still catch myself looking in the back of every meal that I ate or every snack that I had, the calorie count, the nutrition, what's in it. I honestly still do it till this day, just naturally without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because that was like the life that I was growing up in.
Mm-hmm.
So.
But do you feel that you have a better, that you've worked through a lot of those issues and feel better about your body image and maybe not counting calories as much? And also, if that's true, what helped you get to that point?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think that it helped me become a more disciplined person. I think that's something I can take from, you know, being a competitive figure skater and like living the strict lifestyle. It definitely taught me how to eat healthy. You know, like I said, the downside of it was that I developed a binge eating disorder because I was not able to eat certain things for so long that after I could.
My question was, what have you done to get out of that unhealthy mindset of counting calories and binge eating? Like, what have you done to help with your eating disorder?
I honestly don't ever think I really did anything. Like nothing ever clicked in my head where I was like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore.
You
I think
kind
it
of
just
grew out of it.
Yeah, I just kind of grew out of it. But yeah, nothing felt better than one day just realizing, you know what? Like I don't give a fuck what I eat. I'm gonna eat whatever I want, and it felt so good. I literally remember that day like it was yesterday, me retiring and just being like, I'm going to go have a big fat meal. Like I'm going to have pasta, I'm going to have chips. And it felt so good and relieving to think that I don't have to live that lifestyle anymore, that I can still have cheat meals and I can still eat whatever I want and watch what I eat and watch my figure.
So when you were done with your skating career, was that when you went to college or how did that end?
So I did. I think whenever I had retired, I was pretty much beginning high school. So like mid-high school, I actually started playing basketball.
Oh, yeah.
I showed her the traumatizing photo.
Wait, you were in high school in that picture?
That was in middle school. So I actually started.
I was like, you look younger than high school.
So my neck literally was as big as my head. I was ripped. I was like holding that basketball. I was like,
I remember that photo.
Yeah. So obviously I was traumatized from figure skating and I still want to do other things. But I actually started basketball in middle school just to help my cardio and strength for figure skating. And then in high school, I pretty much officially retired figure skating and I kept doing basketball, but then I realized I was too delicate and I was not my cup of tea. I was a good shooter, good defense, but I could not handle the ball. And I was just, it was terrible. But yeah, so I went to high school and then I ended up going to college and that's where I went into majoring journalism and broadcasting communications.
And then I already know when your pageant, era started and where we were working, but would you like to let everyone else know?
Yeah, so I actually was a Hooters girl. Ooh. I know, believe it or not.
Wait, so was your first pageant like in a Hooters pageant?
Yeah.
Or, okay, so that's where that started.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
Hooters girls.
I know. Wait, didn't you?
I'm a tilted kilt girl. Fuck Hooters.
I know,
Hooters.
we're like competition.
Tilted kilt. Team
Wait,
tilted
and what's
kilt.
the other one?
Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
We didn't have those in Indiana.
Really?
That I knew of.
Those are like new. They had just opened up, I would say like a year or two after I had worked at Hooters. Our first like Twin Peaks opened up.
So
starting from, obviously you really enjoyed the Hooters pageants, because did you do other pageants after the Hooters ones?
Yes. So I did Miss Tennessee USA 2 years. And then I also did Miss United States as well.
And how did, I don't know much about pageants. I actually did childhood pageants, not as an adult, and so I'm guessing they're completely different.
Scary, nerve-wracking, very on the spot. So how did you deal with that, not having anxiety?
Honestly, it was the best experience in my entire life. And if there's anything I could recommend a girl, and I know it sounds so corny and cliche, but it really does make you feel so good about yourself. It gives you like a purpose. And I think that, ever since I had quit figure skating, I felt like I had no purpose and I was constantly chasing something that I wanted to do like a hobby. And it made me train for like half a year or a year, however long you wanted to start training for the pageant. And it made me more of a disciplined person. It made me feel like I had something to like look forward to,
So something for the girls like me out there that would be too scared, I would be terrified. It's something that would be amazing to do, but my nerves would get the best of me and I wouldn't know how to do it. I'd probably pee myself. So what would you tell the girls out there that might be too scared to try it, but it could be something that they love?
Honestly, I would just say don't be too scared. I mean, I have natural anxiety and I've always had it. I had the worst anxiety figure skating because I had to literally get on the ice and do a routine in 2 minutes and hope to God I don't fall. And bust my ass. So I've always had that. But there's something different about pageants because you have that anxiety, but it's like a good adrenaline. It's not like the nerve-wracking. Like, especially if you train and you're like very well prepared, you're still gonna naturally have anxiety, but you are gonna have like a good type of anxiety, if that makes sense, And once you're like up on that stage and you feel confident and you feel good about yourself, like you're just gonna walk away and you're just gonna feel even better. Like, wow, like I did that. Like that was me,
Yeah. So a great accomplishment.
Yeah. And it's a confidence booster. It really teaches you a lot. Ladies, I would really recommend, if you're under the age of 28, or I think it's like 27 is the last year you can compete. It really did teach me, like I said, a lot of discipline. It also helped me stay fit and in shape and eat healthy. I always had to be up to date with news, current topics. I was involved in charity work. And I think that's something that also really inspired me to continue doing pageants, is because I love helping, and we did a lot of fundraisers. I actually was a mentor for 2 years while I was training for a pageant, so I actually took care of a 16-year-old girl and helped her out of poverty.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So while you were talking about ice skating and all of that, you mentioned that you have really bad anxiety. So we sort of talked about mental health a little bit on this show, and I know it's something that you've struggled with on and off throughout your life. And I just sort of want to pick your brain about your experience to see if we can help other people who have had the same experiences or are still struggling with their mental health. You've mentioned before to me you have had a suicide attempt. Sometimes you have really bad crippling anxiety and depression. Do you want to tell us what you're comfortable with?
No, I'm definitely confident talking about it. And I think that's actually like the number one thing. And I had mentioned to you, Lana, earlier that, you know, it's so important to talk about this because a lot of times growing up, I felt embarrassed. I never wanted to share my suicidal experiences. I never wanted to tell people that I had depression. But I think as I got older, the more accepting you are of it and the more self-aware you are of that, you actually will get over it because it's not healthy to keep it inside of you bottled up and to feel ashamed and embarrassed that you've had those because it makes you feel different that, oh, well, you know, people are going to judge me. They're going to think that I'm weird. They're not going to want to hang out with me because I'm suicidal.
I can relate to that so much with exactly what you're saying. I had a trauma and I had really bad social anxiety. Like I couldn't even go to the store and order ham from the deli. And I would try to conceal the fact that I had social anxiety. Like I just didn't want anyone to know. Like I would feel so tense and tight in my body and like twitchy, but I'd be like, come on, don't twitch in front of them. Cause it's just like embarrassing. But as I've gotten older, I've learned to embrace it. Like if I'm nervous, I'll make a joke about it. Like, you know, it's just embracing and being like, yeah, I do have this issue, but I love myself and I'm working through this.
Yeah. And if there's anything that I could tell like my younger self or the audience, especially when it comes to, you know, being suicidal or attempting suicide is being able to realize and like I said, being self-aware that you're taking your own life is not worth it. And now looking back when I had attempted it when I was 16.
What was going on there? Do you want to like break down the situation
you know, and that's
for us?
What's crazy is whenever you look back and think of the little things that you were so upset over, you're just like, wow, like that's what triggered me. For me, it was my first boyfriend, like my first love. Yeah, he broke my heart. My parents didn't want us to be together. And he basically ended it and I went crazy and I felt like I wasn't loved, like, you know, no one wanted me. And I actually overdosed on Excedrin. It was the first, it was the first thing that I found in the cabinet that I just, you know, wanted. I think it was more because I wanted attention. It wasn't necessarily that I really wanted to end my life, but a lot of people.
So you took the Excedrin. Did you tell someone that you took it or did you actually go into like convulsions and...
So I think this is kind of the difference where it's when you're trying to seek attention and when you actually do want to end your life is because typically if someone wants to end a life, they're not going to tell anyone their suicide attempt or what they had done. You know, and you just think of the silliest things that you do for attention. And I remember my best friend coming to the hospital and she was just like cussing me out. She was like, you stupid bitch. Like, why would you do this? Like, you're an idiot. You're so gorgeous. Like, I can't believe you did this over a loser.
How old were you again?
I was 16. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much, I think that is like the typical age or the most common age for children to attempt or commit suicide.
And did you have any other experiences after that?
I did. You know, this is pretty personal, but honestly, once again, I'm so open to this. I did cut myself.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of went after that because I think after the suicidal attempt, of course, I had to be put in a mental institution. I had to have a doctor evaluate me. Like, they took it very seriously. But for me, you know, since it was just a cry for help, for attention, I didn't realize how serious.
What triggered the second round of harming yourself?
Just being not normal, like feeling like I wasn't normal and feeling like I was different because I was being treated different since I did attempt suicide. You know, you had to have doctors talk to you. I had to have a therapist weekly. My friends treated me differently. How old were you the
second time?
I was still on the same age, like 16 to 17.
So this was basically it was basically caused by the first time because you started feeling like you were treated differently and you were made to feel crazy.
Yes.
And that probably lowered your self-esteem and you didn't know how to get out of that hole. And so that's why you attempted again.
Exactly. And I think, it made me feel like I was different. I was weird. I didn't fit in. And I know a lot of people that have, you know, cut themselves before. Sometimes it's just like the pain to make you feel better. And I think that's essentially what I was doing. You know, and once again, looking back at that, you see scars on your body and you're just like, why would I ever do that? That's such an idiotic move of me to do. So if there's anything I can recommend looking back and telling people that are struggling with this is, guys, like, really think about it before you do it, because now I live with regret with having scars on my body for just attempting attention, not even essentially wanting to kill myself, just, you know, wanting to have that attention and that adrenaline of pain by cutting myself. And now I look back and think, why did I ever do that? Because now I ruined my body by having scars. And that's something I didn't take into consideration whenever I had done it.
Do you think that when you did start your modeling career and stuff like that, things started to go up and you were had less suicidal thoughts?
Oh, absolutely.
So it was something that, if you want to get into that.
Yeah, I think, you know, just going through like the rough patch of skating and not having like a normal parenting lifestyle and having a foreign family, I think once I started getting into the modeling industry, it definitely made me have a purpose, or I felt like I had a purpose again. So that really did help me out of depression. It really helped me get in a better mental state, you know, physically and mentally.
How do you feel about therapy?
I don't believe in it. I really don't believe in it. It made me feel so weird. You know, I've had a psychiatrist, I've had a psychologist, and I never felt like I fit in. Like, I just kept saying, why am I here? I just feel weird, you know. I think for me, the best therapist.
You haven't found the right one.
Yeah, maybe I didn't. But for me, the best therapists are going to be your family and your close friends, because those people know you better than anyone. And I personally don't believe in someone who's getting paid to just come in and listen to your problems and tell you what you want to hear. So, I want my friends to tell me the reality of what I'm doing and like to help me.
Here's the thing. So yeah, there's some therapists. Last year I tried doing a virtual therapist that was recommended to me, and I could tell like she just really didn't care. Like, she was just doing it to do it. However, that's not going to be the experience every time. But the point of going to a therapist is that they can give you an unbiased advice. Not necessarily advice, because they're not supposed to guide you in your life. They're not a life coach, but they can give you unbiased opinions and just what generally would be good for everyone, you know? Whereas your friends, you know, their opinion towards you is going to be biased.
Yeah, I think it depends on the therapist. I know a lot of people that have had therapists change their lives. But the good thing about a therapist is they will tell you the truth, even if it would like hurt your feelings. Rather, your friends will be like, fuck that guy, he doesn't deserve you. And the therapist will be like, okay, maybe when you keyed his car, that was kind of fucked up, you know? And your friends are going to be like, you should have keyed more.
But the issue is, though, with...
Your friends would be like, why do you miss the fucking windshield, bitch?
No, guys, I totally agree. But I think for someone like me who had to have a psychiatrist at the age of 16, it's pretty much statistically proven that they're not going to open up. And that's why I don't believe having like a therapist at such a young age is healthy. Because you do feel like you don't belong there. You feel you're not gonna open up. Like, now as an adult, I will open up. I will tell everything to my therapist, because I do feel like, oh, I need help with anxiety. I need help with this.
You're searching out for help. The difference was you were probably being forced.
I was being forced.
I didn't therapist at 16. No, I totally understand that.
So that's why I have like a strong like hate for therapists.
I'm like that.
you should revisit it later on. Definitely. Where would you say your mental health is now?
I think it's amazing. You know, I stopped having, like, I'll be honest, I still have, you know, my seasonal depression, and I think that just comes like naturally with a lot of people. You know, I have things that trigger it easily, but I've learned to basically just kind of ride the wave. Like, I know when it's happening and I accept it, and I think that's what's really healthy, is to accept when you're sad and just know that like, hey, this is temporary. This is nothing that is personal going on in your life. Something triggered it, and just be accepting of it and understand and know that it is going to change and it's going to go away. And that's been like my motive. And I mean, I'll do things, you know, I'll read, I'll go out with my friends, you know, I will eat clean and healthy. Those are things that can help me. But the main thing is to always be self-aware that this is temporary and it's going to go away. Yeah.
So rationalizing what's short term and what's long term. And sometimes that you're unable to rationalize because you're so emotional in the moment. Wow, things are so horrible right now. I can't live anymore. I'm in so much mental pain, or sometimes it can even feel physical. But I think that's really good advice. Just when you're feeling like that, just sit down, rationalize. This is only temporary. It's probably
No matter
only
how
gonna
bad
last
it
this
is.
long, that long. And for me, it always helps as well to find a solution to get out of whatever is causing me the pain. Instead of sitting and weeping in that sadness, and I know that it's hard, just start writing down how you're going to get out of that situation. And it's easier said than done.
Yeah, like find things like how you said you got into modeling and whatnot to find a purpose and to make you kind of get out of it so you're excited to get out of bed one day or you have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So we sort of missed when we went over your childhood, but this sort of goes back to mental health, and we'll be doing an episode on this later, whether daddy issues are an actual thing. So you grew up without a father figure until what age?
So I actually have a stepdad, and I call him my real dad because he did raise me.
Yeah.
You know, and he adopted me.
How old were you when he came into your life?
I think my mom had met him when I was 8, so he legally adopted me like when we came here at the age of 9. So, yeah, but I think that's so. It's so funny to me because a lot of people definitely let it know that they have a stepmom, stepdad. I've actually never met a person aside from myself that calls her stepdad her real dad.
Yeah. Well,
So-
he honestly seems like a great guy. Like
Yeah.
the way that he treats you, like he makes sure that you have a car, he makes sure that everything's good for
Yeah.
you. And so that's a great man, like taking care of a child that doesn't have their genetics and treating them like their own. So I can see
and
why.
he had a son from a previous marriage, so I think it was really hard for him to also have to deal with that.
Yeah.
You know, like my stepbrother wasn't the best. He got in a lot of trouble. You know, he had stolen from us. He put us in a lot of debt. But I think that going from that and him still raising me and trying to give me the world was the best thing. Like, you know, he's the reason I was able to figure skate. He's the reason I was able to play basketball and do other sports. And, you know, I was an only child. So I definitely feel like even though in some ways my childhood was corrupted, I still feel like he tried to give me everything that he could.
Yeah. That's amazing. I don't even know what to say about that. Like he's a great guy, and
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
happy
shout out,
that I'm
David.
happy that you have him. Do you think that not having your real dad around from birth, right, affected you?
I think psychologically it did, and I'm just not aware of it. But I am a strong believer that if you grew up without your real dad, even though you don't feel like you're not normal, I think deep down inside I do have issues.
Do you think it's rooted in that? Or
Yeah,
in
like I
something
think it
else?
is. And definitely because I do know my real dad, I've actually had several experiences with him, meeting him, and he was not nice
Do
to me.
you feel rejected by him?
Yeah, I mean, he rejected me. Like, I went to visit him, and he literally threw me back out with my mom and just said he wanted nothing to do with me and my mother.
Because you often sometimes assume, like just from knowing you and like how you interact with men, you often assume that you're going to be rejected even when you're not.
Yeah.
And so I almost wonder if it has something to do with you feeling rejected by
I'm
your
a
dad.
believer. Like, you know, I took psychology, so I'm a very strong believer in that. You know, there's this one story, this incident. I know I've told you. I'm not sure if I've told you. So when I was younger, my mom went to a wedding.
Oh, yeah, you told me this.
Which one?
Yeah, so we went to a wedding, and I want to say I was probably like 5 or 6, and my best friend at the time, her dad was there with us, and obviously I was getting along with her dad, and eventually I started holding his hand, and I was calling him dad, and I was like, Dad.
Oh, yeah.
And then the girl came in, and she was like, no, this is my dad, and I was like, no, he's my dad. And then we started fighting, like fist fighting.
Oh, my God.
My mom had to come over and like break us apart, and I started screaming, crying because he, like, you know, was holding her and I wanted to be held. And my mom actually told me that was the day that she realized that I needed a father figure in my life.
Yeah.
So that's when she put herself back out there to find me like a dad, because that was like her number one priority.
That's pretty selfless of her.
Yeah.
A lot of people still struggle with, even as adults, the divorce of their parents, not having a dad growing up. What's something that you could take away from that and give to them?
Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
I've had a lot of guys that I talk to that I don't know, for some reason, for me, my parents were divorced too, but it just wasn't a big deal to me. It never really affected me. But I'll talk to people who are still like in their 30s, their 20s, and they're still upset about their parents getting divorced when they were 14,
Wow.
15. Maybe you are the same as me where it just doesn't consciously affect you.
I think it just takes
Is there
takes strong willpower to get over that. Like, my family wasn't perfect. I obviously don't want to share too many of my personal experiences with my family, but my mom and my dad actually had a lot of screaming fights as I grew up.
Your real dad?
Yeah. Well, no, like my stepdad as well. I heard a lot of verbal abuse,
Yeah.
like sometimes physical things were happening in the house. So I don't think necessarily that even though I did have a stepdad at a young age and grew up with one, we still had a lot of issues, but I think it made me more independent and stronger, and also actually made me self-reflect on their issues to grow up and to constantly say, I never want to be like that.
Yeah.
I never want to be as crazy. Love you, Mom, but I never want to be as crazy as my mom when she fights, and the nasty things that she would say to my stepdad. It made me think, wow, like, I want to be the best version of myself whenever I grow up, and I don't want to have that relationship, because what I saw happening with my family, I kept saying, I never want to be like that,
Yeah.
I can relate for sure. I understand where you're coming from.
I never had a father figure whatsoever, and I have no idea what a relationship's supposed to look like.
Aww.
We're all like traumatized. So there you have it, guys. We all have daddy issues.
I'm
Three
good.
girls,
I'm
three
good.
different daddy issues.
I'm learning from experience. I'm pretty happy at where I'm at. But yeah, I sort of always thought about people who were raised in a home with two parents. They got to see growing up what that looks like, and I just never had any idea. My mom never had any boyfriends, nothing.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of could be something to learn from in a good and a bad way, because just because there are two parents, they could be arguing, there could be a lot of fighting in the within the household, and that's more damaging than having no one at all sometimes.
That's why my mom said that she didn't want, because she had already been married 3 times, she was like, I don't want to bring a man into this house, because she had such bad experiences. She just wanted to raise us herself and do the best that she could, because there could be those bad experiences with fighting, just people being weird, you know? Is there anything else that you want to touch on or give to the audience before we wrap this up?
I'm like, well, guys, I'm not crazy, I promise.
No, it's just everyone
possibly have daddy issues.
I'm like, some people.
No, everyone has trials. Everyone has struggles. No one is perfect in their mind, just like no one is perfect in their body. And thank you for sharing with them, because I'm sure even though other people don't talk about those experiences, they've had them. So it's nice for them to be able to relate and feel more normal and know that someone as beautiful and well-spoken and intelligent as you has struggled with those things.
I was like, thanks. Yeah, no, I think I'm just happy that we covered these topics rather than like me talking about pageants and modeling and like my makeup tutorials, because I think it's so much more important to know that there's people out there. I personally don't think I'm the most beautiful or successful girl, but to other people's eyes, they might view me as that. And I think it's just so important for those viewers to know that if you see me like that, just know that I've struggled probably with more depression and more suicidal thoughts than you have, the way that I look, so this is perfectly normal, and you should be so open to talk about these things. And I want to like normalize that. And I think that's why I struggled so much growing up with it, is because people bullied you. Like, they were like, like that girl tried killing herself, so she's a freak, she's weird. It shouldn't be viewed like that at all. Like, this is a perfectly normal thing to go through as a teenager, and it's important to accept those things and be open about it, and honestly sometimes just fucking laugh about it. Look back and be like, damn, I was an idiot. Why the fuck did I even try doing that? Over an idiot.
Today's episode is sponsored by Honey. We all shop online, and I know when I shop online and I see that promo code section, I always wish that I had a promo code to put in so I can save money, because who doesn't love to save money?
And Honey also supports over 30,000 stores, so you have many options that you can save from.
And it's so convenient. Honey is actually a easily downloadable free browser extension that automatically finds the promo codes for you when you're checking out, so you don't have to do anything besides download Honey.
Wait, Alexa, didn't you say you saved something on with Honey the other day that you were shopping for?
Yeah, so remember how I was saying I want to up my style and start dressing better? So I did some online clothing shopping the other day, but I ended up saving, I think, because I did a large amount of shopping, about $100 total.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's a great discount.
So Honey has about 17 million members, and altogether it's about $2 billion in savings.
Wow.
Wow, that's a lot of savings. I wish I had $2 billion. If you don't already have Honey, you could be missing out on free savings. The app is free and easy to install. It installs within seconds. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid and supporting our podcast. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/3girls. That's joinhoney.com/3girls.
So as you guys know, we've partnered with Stereo and we've been going live 3 times a week on the app.
It is so much fun. I love interacting with you guys when we go live. It's really a great app and super unique because you can ask us voice memo questions straight on the app for us to answer during our live. The whole audience can hear your question, we can hear it, and we get back to you with an answer right then and there.
And guys, it also has thousands of live social conversations. So we're not only just the ones that you would be hearing, there's other conversations that you can actually tune into and listen to as well. So I actually do love that about the app as well.
I mean, let's be honest, our live is probably the best one.
It's exclusive and it's like unfiltered. So you literally hear us just talk girl talk. The other day when you guys were in New York, I was still here at home. And I actually forgot that we were on the live because I wanted to know what was going on in your guys' lives. And we were just talking like normal as if it was just us on the phone.
So natural and fun. So make sure that you tune in to Stereo. Follow us at 3 Girls, 1 Kitchen to get the inside scoop on what's going on in our lives. Lots of fan advice being given to you, just like the end of our episodes here. And yeah, it's overall a really fun time, and I've been enjoying talking to you guys and getting to know you better on Stereo. Download Stereo and then follow us at 3G1K. The link to our account will also be in the description, so head over to there and don't forget to follow us. All right, guys, so now, even though this episode was great, I know they want to see if we're going to be answering their questions, so let's slip into the fan questions.
All right, so my fan question is from Billy Barthel_, and they want to know, do you think friends determine your future? I am a strong believer that you are who you hang out with and who you surround yourself with. So in a sense, yes, obviously you need to have a strong willpower to also know where you want to be in your future. But, for me, surrounding myself with people that are successful, talented, that are positive also makes me want to be successive, talented, and positive.
Girl,
so
quit talking about me.
I know. I was like, I don't want to eye her because she's gonna get a big
Lana.
ego.
Make herself positive.
Okay,
Yeah, I was
sorry.
like positive.
No more interrupting. Continue.
So yeah, I definitely do think that in a sense your friends do determine your future because, if you're gonna hang out with someone who doesn't really have anything going for themselves or lazy, they're couch potatoes, you're gonna eventually be a lazy couch potato too. So.
I mean, I agree with that, of course, 100%. But for me, mainly, I like to be around energy. So someone can be a normal person and work a normal life, but as long as they have a great positive energy and outlook on life, they're honestly better to be around than like certain super successful people because their energies are not this like on point.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think it's surround yourself with who has a great, happy energy that's like a positive light in your life.
Yeah.
If not, then you can start to come down as well.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with both of you. With what Olivia said, I do like to hang out with people who I inspire to be like. I also enjoy people with a great positive energy, people with true intentions. Another thing I'm really obsessed with is intellectual people. If I can't have a conversation with you that's not small talk, then I don't want to have it. I find it extremely boring and not worth my time. I'm sorry if I sound cunty. So like all of that plus this and what's good, we can hang out.
What's good, she said.
What's good?
Let's be friends.
So yes, guys,
I want you in my
I
life.
think we kind of all believe that your friends do determine your future.
Yeah.
How you.
Oh, I lost the basis of the question, but
Yeah, I agree. The friends, it can and it can't. Like you shouldn't cut someone off because they're not successful. But as long as someone's not dragging you down, But yeah, friends do. Okay, so mine's Maya_Kilter, and she says, "Can guys have a girl best friend?"
why are you smiling?
She goes, let me tell you.
Oh my God, I get this a lot. So I think yes, and I'll tell you why. I obviously live with a guy, and we are best friends, and a lot of people would assume certain things or look down on it, but as long as if you're dating a guy or whatnot and he has a female friend, as long as you don't see her coming at him in a certain way, saying inappropriate things, and she's respectful of your relationship, there should not be an issue at all. I think it's normal and healthy to be able to have that kind of relationship with females. If you're a guy and you're not able, or if you see a guy and he's not able to have like a normal, healthy relationship with girls as friends, I think that's kind of a red flag. Because if you're a respectful person and you don't look at girls for just sex or negative things, then you should be able to have female friendships.
Yeah. And I definitely agree with that. You know, I used to not until I started having guy friends, and also when I saw your relationship with Naja. And I think, like you said, it takes a certain person with respect. And also for me, like if I'm gonna have a guy friend that I see nothing sexual with, I'm purposely going to always, like, I'm not gonna try to impress him. I'm not gonna like wear sexual things in front of him. I'm not gonna like be inappropriate with him, you know? So because like I respect our friendship with him, and I would never like want to cross the border, especially because if the guy is like seeing a girl or he's dating her or vice versa, the girl is, you know, seeing a guy, she's dating him. So yeah, I think it just takes the certain person that you should trust and know that, hey, if they're a respectful person, they know their like border with that person, that it's okay. Like it's perfectly normal and it's healthy to have a opposite sex friend.
Yeah. Where I'm at is do whatever you want, talk to whoever you want, but respect our boundaries that we both decided to have in our relationship, and then we're all good.
Yeah, and as long as she's respectful of the boundaries, then you should,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
if a girl's coming at it being weird,
if the guy, your boyfriend is very respectful, like thinks of her as a friend, but she is being inappropriate, then
that's different. Yeah,
without you even asking, he should cut off that friendship out of respect for you and come to you and tell you about it.
Yeah. So all in all, I think we kind of were on the same page.
What makes a healthy relationship? This is going to be different for everyone. There's not one healthy relationship for everyone or a one-size-fits-all. For me, my definition of a healthy relationship and what I'm looking for right now could be completely different from yours or yours or yours. Also, my idea of a healthy relationship could drastically change six months from now. Right now, what I'm looking for as a healthy relationship is a very mature relationship that's very independent. We focus on our own careers. We focus on our own social lives. We are just building ourselves. And then at the end of the day, we meet up and we have the best time together, but we're not codependent on each other. And so that's what I'm looking for right now, someone that I can just be very independent with, but be best friends with, know that I have them at the end of the day. We have a great time together. And obviously you can trust them. You're not arguing about silly things that shouldn't even be happening in a relationship. So yeah, there's really so many factors in it, and there's no one size fits all for a healthy relationship because everyone wants different things.
It's so funny because that's what I've been saying from day one is I always want someone that I can just come home to at night and we have like our separate lives. We do whatever we want during the day. And then I want to come home.
Not even every night.
Yeah.
But just, you know, when you guys feel like it feels right to see each other, go and have an amazing time together. But we don't need to meet up all the time. We don't need to text every single day and waste our time like having small talk.
Yeah. Well, I think it's definitely healthy to just have someone that you trust and that you love and who is supportive of you no matter what, who never brings you down, who always wants to like build you and hype you up, and you'd be the same to them. Just a loving, trusting, caring person. And then if there is that trust in the relationship, you are able to go on your girls' trip and they can go on their boys' trip, and you're not going to have anxiety or worry, and you're going to check in with each other.
Like I said at the beginning of the last episode for the clip, you should already be a full picture by yourself. And then when that happens, you find someone else to add color to that picture. And I believe that's all that it should be. You and then them, and you both bring color to each other's lives. But no one's going to complete you. No one's going to build you. You have to do all that by yourself. And that's what I truly believe a healthy relationship is.
Anything to add?
No, you guys talked my ears off. You said it all. I was like, yep, couldn't agree more. Just having someone that, like you said, trust, big, you know, is big for me to have a healthy relationship. Having that trust and someone who is basically going to be interested in what you do and inspire you and motivate you and push you to be the best version of yourself in whatever career or job, whatever the case might be that you're partaking in. To me, that's just such a big thing. Like that's for me is a healthy relationship. It should never be one-sided. It should be two takes to tango, you know, or it takes two to tango.
Yeah.
It takes two to tango.
definitely. In my last relationship, I started feeling a little drained and I wasn't investing enough into myself because the other person, he was just focused on building him and wanted me to help build him. And so everything was just about that. So yeah, it would be nice to have us building ourselves, but then when we can help build each other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm a strong believer in that.
Back to trust though, I've read that a relationship, or I've heard actually from a therapist, since we're talking about that in this episode, he told me when I was 16, relationships are built off two pillars, love and trust. And without either, the relationship is just, you know, it's not going to work. You have to have both. There's those two pillars. And so if you don't have that trust and the person's not working towards building that trust with you, if you don't have it, it might have been ruined. But also, I'm not even going to go into this. But if you don't have that trust, cut it off, fix it. If they're not willing to fix it, cut it off. The definition of a healthy relationship is different for everyone. But I think you have a pretty good understanding if you're in a relationship and it's unhealthy. It's not hard to know if something's making you sad or angry more than it's making you happy and enriching your life. That's how you know if you're in a healthy relationship. All right, guys, so thank you for listening. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure that you head over to Apple and subscribe to us. We drop these episodes up to 3 days sooner, and you don't want to miss them.
Bye. Ooh, in tune again.
Thanks for watching us today. And if you want an extra dose of 3G1K, make sure that you download the Stereo app and follow us at 3G1K.
Yeah, so make sure to come join our after party, an exclusive after party where we're going to answer everyone's fan questions constantly and is unfiltered, one-on-one with you guys to chat with you all.
Download Stereo and then follow us at 3G1K. The link to our account will also be in the description, so head over to there and don't forget to follow us.